chill Sonic locations. There is a lot of locations in the Sonic series that could be called, quote, chill, but I quickly want to define what I mean by that. I just mean a place that would be cool to visit, a place that would just be relaxing or just interesting to go and see. There might be things to do or just a cool place to just kind of sit around. And so I wanted to bring up a list of levels that I think would be cool places to go visit. These aren't ranked in any particular order, and if you have any stages that you think I should have talked about, please leave that in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, but let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Starting off with Angel Island. Angel Island is just such a fun tropical environment. It really doesn't have that much crazy to it. I hope I wouldn't be visiting while it's on fire, but when it's not, it's just a really nice place. Sonic 3 does a really good job of making the stage look visually very lush. It's incredibly pretty to look at and would be an awesome place to visit. This stage looks even better in Mania Plus, and it's just a shame that Mania Plus didn't expand on this level more, but visually it just looks great here. Another thing to consider is that Angel Island is supposed to be a floating island. In Sonic 3 we see it's obviously no longer floating and it's fallen back to the ground, but if it's floating in the air, that would make it an even cooler location to visit. Plus, with Angel Island, while technically the entirety of Sonic 3 happens on Angel Island, every stage takes place there, and while that's true, they've kind of just pushed that to the side and made it where Angel Island is just obviously the first stage of Sonic 3, that, and Sky Sanctuary. So I'm gonna kind of include Sky Sanctuary in here, which would also be a crazy place to visit, so I'm kind of bundling these two together since they're so closely related. But seriously, Sky Sanctuary and Angel Island are just beautiful environments that would be just incredible to see. Next up is Emerald Coast. Now, this location might not seem that crazy at first. It might just seem like a pretty simple beach location with some, nice little grass areas. But let's think about it. We've got a beach resort, which we see Sonic chilling at the start of his campaign. We also see in Big's campaign, you can fish here. This is a great place for fishing, and you can also see the docks here that are made for fishing. Beautiful waterfalls and caves and loops, and I mean, this place has a lot to look at and a lot of places to go. There's just a lot of things you could do here outside of just this stage looking nice and just being visually appealing. I mean, there's fishing, there's swimming, there's all kinds of things. You could just chill out at the resort, and heck, there's literally a pool right there if you don't want to go to the ocean. What a nice breeze. So while Emerald Coast might not be the most crazy thing, it's certainly not lacking in things to do. Next up is Twinkle Park, and oh my gosh, Twinkle Park is crazy. In Twinkle Park, there is a lot to do. Seriously, I don't know how much you've thought about it, but there is a lot to do in Twinkle Park. There's go-karts, bowling, roller coasters, swinging pirate ships, a merry-go-ride, and a swimming pool.
Looks like nobody's around.
Sonic, how are you doing that? And all of that is in this just humongous, just completely just decked out castle. Like, wow. That's crazy. Twinkle Park has so much to do that this would unironically be just a fire place to go, like seriously. While it's not exactly the most relaxing, it's still just a cool place and it has such an interesting vibe to it, especially with just the stars and the whole night sky theme this level went for. Yeah, it would be an incredible place to visit. And when I played the stage, I didn't really realize how much there was going on. I never really noticed the swinging pirate ships or that there was bowling or a merry-go-ride. I kind of forgot about a lot of this stuff. I thought it was just the roller coaster and go-karts. I kind of pushed everything else out of my mind, but after looking at this stage again, I was like, wow, there really is a lot to do here. And as someone who is like, I'm a bowling enjoyer, I actually like bowling. It's really fun. I can't even hold you, so I'd like to go here is all I'm trying to get at. So after Twinkle Park, I want to bring up the Hero Chao Garden. Now, I don't really have that much to say about the Hero Chao Garden. It's pretty simple. You've just got this nice pool area, it's grassy, it's pretty, you've got this nice water fountain, and it's all floating on top of this just bed of pink-colored clouds. All the Chao Gardens aren't especially interesting because they're mostly just small areas to just contain your Chao, like that's it. It's just a little kind of pretty nice looking area. It's not really that crazy or anything, but but it does look very nice. This would just be so relaxing to come chill out here. That combined with getting to see the Chao just not being good at swimming would be, honestly, it'd be pretty fun. I can't even hold you. Like, yeah, I'm not the biggest Chao guy, but like, come on, they're still cute. After that, we have Dry Lagoon. This stage is really randomly just really pretty. It's kind of funny because none of the other stages that happen in this desert location really have any sort of vegetation like this level does. But wow, Dry Lagoon, despite its name, is honestly got a lot of water. In fact, there's a whole turtle gimmick that takes you under the stage to go to a completely different area. And both of these areas just look super cool. I mean, obviously this entire selection of stages is based off ancient Egypt, but this just has that theme, but it's not totally dry and devoid of life. Like, this area is still got a lot going on. There's just a lot of green everywhere, and it just has such a perfect balance between really, like, you know, ancient stone and a lot of these very dry areas, and just such a full of life area too. And I just really love that balance. And getting to see this in person would just be an incredible sight, seriously. So skipping forward a good bit of games, I want to go to Apotos from Sonic Unleashed. This goes without saying, this stage looks incredible. Now, obviously, this area is based off Greece, so we basically have a real life equivalent of this, but since they kind of just took that and translated it into Sonic, it still looks just as gorgeous. And Unleashed, while I have a lot of issues with Unleashed, it does do one thing very well. It makes a lot of these environments feel very lively. There's a lot of people that live here, and they just give a certain life to this area that just makes it more appealing than a lot of other Sonic games are able to do. It gives the environments a certain type of charm, because these environments aren't just a cool place to look at, they're also places that people live in and have lives and do things. So while Unleashed certainly isn't perfect, and even its world building isn't as great as people act, they did do a good job on making these environments feel very lively and lived in. And the same can be said for Adabat. This location is also, like Apotos, based off real world locations like Indonesia, Thailand, and Cambodia. So we do have places on Earth that do look a good bit like this. But I think my favorite thing about this whole area is kind of the variety it offers. You have a lot of these towns just chilling on top of very shallow water and huts built on top of it, which is just such a cool vibe, honestly, from the get-go. You have that, then ancient ruins you can see everywhere, and jungle combined with it too. Waterfalls, grassy areas, like, I mean, it's got everything. And it just has such a vibey feel that I really love. And we get to see that even expanded on in the night stage for this particularly. Just having the torches everywhere, it just has it's such a fun look. I really love it. Next up is Planet Wisp. Planet Wisp is obviously the home of the Wisps, and it is just a beautiful location. Something I really like about this is the just very different shade of green for the grass. It gives it such a unique look that I really love. That combined with the very blue tinted rocks, it has such an interesting vibe that does make it look otherworldly, which is obviously what they were going for, but I really like how it doesn't look like a normal Sonic location. It has a different feel to it altogether. The only thing that kind of sucks about this place is the fact that it's under active construction by Eggman to make it more dangerous. I mean, yeah, if you stay away from all the mechanical stuff, yeah, it's a pretty cool place. But even then, honestly, Eggman did a pretty fire job of making this place look even cooler. Because, like, yeah, it may be machinery or whatever, and Eggman's evil takeover, but, like, still, all of the, like, kind of, like, red and kind of orange, kind of in-between sort of color metal, and just the whole look to it is also cool. This might be the least threatening Eggman takeover I've seen in a minute, which obviously does align with the rest of the game because he's trying to kind of get his reputation back, and he's sorry for all the wrongs he did, so I guess it does align with that. With that said about Planet Wisp, I do want to bring up one more stage from Colors, and that is Aquarium Park. My biggest Colors hot take is that I'm not the biggest on this level, but visually, yeah, jaw on the floor, this level looks incredible, dude. This stage just has such a fun look to it. Having like an aquarium area, obviously, combined with like Japanese architecture is just so cool. Having the samurai egg ponds just also adds to it as well. While this might be Eggman's takeover, this area is clearly still meant to be friendly, and it seriously looks like it. This would be an amazing place to visit. It just, wow, the whole dome overhead on everything, and then having the whole, obviously, aquarium and being able to see all the different sea life here is just super cool. So yeah, shout out Sonic Colors for having some of the best environments in the series. I love you, Planet Wisp and Aquarium Park. You two are awesome, thank you. And so for our final location, we have Kronos Island. With Sonic Frontiers having a more somber theme, it kind of lended itself to a lot more relaxing environments. And while the whole game has kind of a lower, more kind of, I don't want to say down to earth, but you kind of get what I'm saying, a less wacky and cartoony sort of look to everything. It kind of wanted to have a more realistic approach to it to make these places seem a little more out of place in Sonic's world, since these are obviously, you know, the ancients coming to Earth to build a civilization here. That's why it looks so different. And I think that Kronos is by far the only place I would actually want to go anywhere near, because, I mean, yeah, it's grass and cliffs with some, you know, obviously ancient structures thrown in there, but, you know, would I rather go to Kronos, or would I rather go into a literal desert with canyons, or an active volcano above the clouds? Like, those are cool and all, but like, I'm not trying to go there, you see what I'm saying? Kronos is just such a, it's such a pretty area. Like, it's, yeah, people get on Frontiers for its visuals all the time, but seriously, I still think Kronos Island has such an interesting and just cool vibe to it that would make it an interesting place to visit. And it kind of sucks that Kronos Island on its own, you don't really get to see some of the cooler locations, because they obviously, during development, actually split this island into 3. It was originally meant to be one humongous island, but people said it was too big, so they split it up, which means that you have Kronos, Rhea, and Oranos, which were all meant to be one big island. And especially with Rhea Island, you get to see a lot of these really cool areas that you cannot access anywhere else in the game, but they serve no purpose because, well, you know, Rhea's just the towers, that's it. It has nothing else to offer, really. So while it's kind of a shame that the game doesn't really do this environment a whole lot of justice, I still think it looks really nice. I love the kind of Ubisoft towers, for a lack of better terms, and just the whole look of it is incredible, honestly. I really love the look of Kronos. And so yeah, that's about it. Well, there's a lot of Sonic locations that I definitely would not want to visit, but this was my pick of places that I just think would be cool to see. And my personal favorite, honestly, is Twinkle Park. I think there'd be so much fun to be had here, and just the vibe of it is also immaculate. So like, I don't know how they did this. It's a stage that looks cool, has a nice vibe to it, and if you did actually visit, there would be a lot to do. And so yeah, I just wanted to talk about these because, I don't know, I had been looking through some Sonic games recently and just thought there were some locations and I'm like, wow, all of these have a certain cool vibe to them that it would just be fun to go there. So I wanted to talk about it. So thank you all for watching, and I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. God bless.